Okay, a little bit later than I usually get a video done, but man, I've just been so tired today and I slept most of the day, and I definitely wanted to get a video done because I've got a lot of DC Multiverse to open. Like more, I know I always say I got a lot of DC Multiverse to open. I still got a big stack of them. I'm trying to hack through it. I'm getting through it a little bit at a time, but I've got even more this week with the stuff I got from Big Bad Toy Store. And Christmas is not over on this channel because look, there's a Christmas present I got. So we're gonna have to wait till next episode to open that though, because I'm still on GI Joe figures. Still got one more GI Joe to open, and that is the Cobra Eel. Yeah, I there was a Cobra Eel in the standard line. I'm gonna cut the tape on the back here where the bubble is actually taped to the back of the package. That'll make that a little easier for me to open in a minute. But I was not able to get that one. That was a highly in demand figure, and it like I don't think I ever saw it for pre-order anywhere because the pre-orders just sold out like really fast. And anytime I would see one pop up online, it was just kind of expensive. So I was like, I'll wait and see if I can get one for a good price. And then finally, they re-released in this retro line, and I was able to get one. Oh, let's have a look at the artwork here. I'm getting ahead of myself. Very similar to the artwork that we saw on the original vintage uh, Cobra Eel figure. Not identical, but pretty similar. And it says Cobra Eel classified, should say various, for the file name. Role combat diver, primary specialty underwater demolitions, secondary specialty marine engineering. Eels are the underwater demolition specialists of the Cobra Legions. They staff and operate the Cobra Marine outpost disguised as offshore drilling rigs and augment the crews of the larger Cobra naval vessels. Yeah, I always kind of figured that eel was a play on Navy SEALs, eel, seal, something that's an aquatic character that's kind of like a snake. So here's a little separate bubble here with the swim fins in there. And every time I open one of these up, the always falls to the floor without fail, the figure stand. So I'll go ahead and pull the figure stand out first. Every figure should come with a figure stand these days. There's no excuse for them not to. I don't know why the regular classified figures don't come with figure stands. They should. Uh, the retro card figures, they come with figure stands, and the 60th anniversary figures came with figure stands. Oh, and we got our legal mumbo jumbo sheet here that I'm not even gonna fool with. So let's go ahead and set the card aside. Oh, real quick, just a refresher. That's what the cross sell artwork is on here. We got the eel, we got Beachhead, and we've got the snow serpent, which is also a branch of the eels. So that means I've gotten all three of the figures in this assortment. So that's nice. I don't always do that with the retro cards, but we did it this time. All right, so the knife's being kind of tricky. So the way I figured out that's easiest to get the knife out is to actually punch the sharp end through the plastic, which is kind of sharp, kind of soft, like kind of thin, and then I was able to get to the handle more easily. Set that aside for now. I believe that the knife and I don't have them with me to compare, but I believe that the knife and the spear gun are the same ones. Oh, and the fins as well. I believe that's all the same ones that came with Torpedo, just colored differently. And then we have the eel's helmet, and that is a helmet that's molded in clear plastic because of the visor, and then painted gray with some other details on it, black, silver. The little light in the front of his helmet is silver. Black on the earphone and the microphone, the trim of the goggles, and the trim of the flashlight. So set that down. And then we got a backpack. And backpack in red and black with a black Cobra sigil on the front. and he's got these what looks like little jets to propel him through the water. So set that aside for now. And last but not least, the actual figure itself. And as usual with G.I. Joe figures these days, no rubber tab holding in the package, so that's always nice. All right, so here's our eel out of the package. Now, as I pointed out before, he has a helmet, so unlike the vintage eel, who would have had the helmet molded on, this guy has the helmet as a separate piece that is removable. And it looks like I'm going to have a hard time getting the helmet to line up with his eyes properly. This is still just like a little bit of his mask you can see at the top there. So since he does have a removable helmet, and I guess they didn't want to have him, have his face exposed since this is supposed to be an army builder, he's got like this balaclava thing underneath. So I'm not sure how the air hoses are supposed to reach his mouth that way. but it's a toy. You can just pretend, right? We can just pretend that it reaches. All right, so let's talk about his articulation a little bit. Cobra eel can look up about that far. He can look down about that far. Tilts his head kind of quizzically side to side. Rotate the head all the way around. Since this is G.I. Joe classified, he does have an articulation both at the base of the head, where the head meets the neck, and the base of the neck, where the neck meets the shoulders. Speaking of shoulders, the shoulders do rotate all the way around. The arms rotate all the way around the shoulders. He does have butterfly joints, and the arms bend back about that far and go forward about that far. And the arms, very stiff. Trying to get it to, I don't want to force it. This one's a little better. So his arm goes up about that far, but you can see this one's kind of, the joint's kind of stiff, and I'm not wanting to, oh, there it goes. I got it. It just took a little bit of coaxing. Never force the joints. That's how you break the joints. So always use gentle coaxing, and if gentle coaxing isn't enough, apply some heat to it. I like to use a hairdryer. Some people like to use warm water, but I use the hairdryer. That's my method. So anyway, bicep rotates all the way around. He does have a bicep cut, so there's that. And I do believe that this is at least mostly a reuse of Torpedo's body again, which makes sense because you already have a perfectly good wetsuit body. Why go through the trouble? Anything else? He does have a few different pieces. Like I believe these shoulders, the deltoids are different pieces. I believe the trunks are different pieces. The forearms are definitely different pieces. So he's got some doodads on his forearms. He's got this plain armor over here, but over here it looks like it has like a little radar screen and a little some kind of control. He does have double jointed elbows. That's about the range of motion we get at the elbows. Of course, the wrists rotate all the way around, and at least on the right hand, it has a vertical hinge, which moves down that far, up about that far. So that's how that one articulates. Seems like a pretty good range of motion for that. And over on the left hand, it looks like that also has a vertical hinge, although that one's a little more stiff, but it still rotates all the way around. He does have an ab crunch, so he can bend back about that far, bend forward about that far, and of course the waist rotates all the way around, and it kind of wobbles whichever way you want it to. It's kind of similar to how the old 80s G.I. Joes were articulated at the waist, but it's not an O-ring, it's a ball and socket, but it still moves about the same way. He does have the drop-down hips, of course, and he can kick up about that far. He does have a thigh cut, so the thigh rotates all the way around. He does have double joint knees. That's about the range of motion you get at the knees. No boot cut, since he doesn't have boots. But technically there's a boot cut, but it's not actual boots, just like with Torpedo. So the ankle can rotate all the way around there, and then ankle points down about that far, ankle points up about that far, and of course it rotates all the way around where the ankle meets the foot. So there we go. Let's go ahead and gear him up. So first of all, let's have a look at this knife. and it's kind of like a standard sort of diving knife, like a frogman usually has. Now in GI Joe, when you have a character that's a Navy SEAL, that usually means they're a frogman. When the first Navy SEAL came out, that was Torpedo, he was a frogman, and obviously very much inspired by the original 1960s 12-inch frogman outfit that they had for the 12-inch GI Joe. Then you had Wetsuit, who was even more of a frogman. He wasn't even very stealthy looking with his orange and green. And then we had, I believe, Tracker was a Navy SEAL, and he was not portrayed as a frogman, but he was wearing a very loud red and yellow outfit. So, and then finally you had Shipwreck as a Navy SEAL, and again he was frogman. So I guess that they just wanted something cool to call the Frogman figure other than a Frogman, and Navy SEALs were pretty popular at the time. So, oh, he's a Navy SEAL. But all of our Navy SEALs are just on diving missions at this time. You did see occasionally in the comics Wetsuit, and I believe it was one of the was it one of the yearbooks or one of the special missions? I think it was a yearbook where we saw Wetsuit and Torpedo on a land mission, and they were both just wearing like regular fatigues, like a Navy SEAL actually would on a land mission. And I think that in that issue, whoever did the lettering confused who was supposed to be Wetsuit and who was supposed to be Torpedo, because Torpedo, the native Hawaiian, was colored as being blonde. Oh, anyway, the knife looks really cool, and the backpack does fit really well on him. So I'm going to take the knife out of his hand, and we're going to put it in the sheath about his ankle, and see how that fits. And I accidentally knocked the sheath down towards the ankle. We're going to push it back up. There we go. That's a little more snug. And the knife does fit snugly into the sheath on the ankle, so that's good. Now let's see if we can get this helmet on, well, without any problem. So I'm going to just kind of stick my thumb underneath his chin, and hopefully that'll keep it from going down too far. And the problem is that didn't quite work. I think that this helmet is actually like somewhat deeper at the front, and that's what's causing the problem. I mean, you can see his eyes, but I kind of want it to not have the mask be visible underneath the helmet. That's what I'm going to try to do with that. But I don't know if I'm going to be able to right now. I'll play around with it a little bit later, and maybe I can get it to fit in there. So once we got the helmet on, let's go ahead and fit these air hoses into these little holes on the side of his backpack. You can see right there, there's a little hole on either side. I already got one of them in. And there we go. All right. So there he is with the helmet and the backpack. And last but not least, we have the spear gun. Now, I'm not sure if the previous edition of the eel would have had any more accessories than this, but this I feel like is a good component of accessories, like compared to the vintage figure, since he had a spear gun and a backpack and some air hoses. The eel was one of the more popular army builders in the vintage line. He's one that a lot of kids enjoyed, and I know I was a fan of the eel. Like I said, I kind of figured he was like supposed to be Cobra's equivalent of a Navy SEAL. And you know what I forgot to do? He's got this cool little loop on there. It's supposed to wrap around his wrist. I forgot to do that. So let's go ahead and get that done. And my one problem with that is I'm afraid that it's going to break, since it is just solid plastic. But it does have that little loop. I'm just going to get it on there just to show you folks watching how that works. So there we go with the, but you see how it gets kind of bent up there? Hey, the Retro Tinker! I had an excellent Christmas. I hope you had a great Christmas as well. But I got to see all my family, and I had Christmas Eve off, so that was nice. And like I worked Christmas Day. But I don't mind working Christmas Day because, like I said, I'd already spent time with family on the on Christmas Eve and on the Saturday before Christmas Eve, so I'd gotten to see pretty much all of my immediate family and some of my extended family, and of course, I have loved ones that live uh, all the way across the country, so I wasn't able to see them, but I did talk to my cousin a little bit, and she sent me a nice Christmas present. I'll be talking more about that in the next episode, so you can guess what that is. but yeah, so yeah, Christmas was good. I had this is probably the best Christmas I've had in a long time, actually. So uh, but yeah, like probably the best Christmas present was getting to see my family and spend some time with them this holiday, which I don't always get to do, unfortunately. So he does have two more accessories, which is these swim fins. So let's go ahead and get these on there. So get the toe in first, and then kind of hook the strap around the back of the heel. Come on, you. Let's go. There we go. And voila, there he is with the swim fins on. So now he's fully ready to go on an undersea mission. Let's go ahead and get him into kind of a swimming pose since we can do that. Tilt the head back and the upper part of the torso back, and there he is, heading to some nefarious purpose, no doubt. Man, he's a cool figure. You can see why the original classified version of the eel would have sold out instantly, even at the pre-order level. And this one is I think probably the most difficult. At least for me, it was the most difficult to track down, rather than the holiday spear fishing. Wow, that's a good way to spend it. That's a good way to spend your time off. I hope you get some good stuff. So my dad's a big fisherman, but I don't think he's ever done spear fishing. So I know he's done some deep sea fishing before, so that was pretty cool. So yeah, uh, like I said, was never able to get the standard classified version of the eel, but I was able to get this one. So I was really happy that that they did re-release it in some manner. I'm sure there's some differences between this one and the standard classified version, and you can probably get that information somewhere on the internet. But unfortunately, since I don't have the original one, I couldn't possibly tell you. but but I will say that I'm really happy to have this one, because it finally gets this figure into my collection one way or the other, and I'm pretty happy with how he turned out. So that's pretty much it for the Cobra Eel, and that's pretty much it for all the GI Joe stuff that I have so far. But I am supposed to have some stuff that's oh, don't spearfish. I just meant the eel was ready. Ah, I see. Okay. Oh yeah, he's probably going to do some spear fishing, but he's not going after fish. He's going after GI Joe. But yeah, yeah. So, but that's pretty much it for the eel. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you like and subscribe. All the fun YouTube stuff down below. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think about the Cobra Eel, both the figure and the character in general. You definitely want to see what's coming up if you're a fan of DC Multiverse, because I have a lot of cool DC Multiverse stuff to open. First off, next episode is going to be this that I've been looking forward to for a long time, with Superman versus Doomsday from Batman v Superman. Got the Henry Cavill Superman finally in the classic blue and red. As I like him in the black suit too, and of course I have the black suit. Did an unboxing on that. We'll see the black suit again next time. I'll have them so I can compare the two figures. But you gotta have Superman in the classic red and blue. You gotta. It's that's his classic look. And Doomsday. So we're gonna have a look at Doomsday, and looks like some interesting decisions were made with this packaging. So we'll talk about the packaging, which is unusual for a DC multiverse figure these days. And then after that, I'm gonna have coming up uh, the whole week of it. We're gonna make a whole week of it. We'll have the Justice League Task Force figures based on the 1990s video game. So that should be some fun stuff. Anyway, that's it for the Cobra Eel. I hope you enjoyed the video. We will talk to you next time. Bye.